Hi, I'm Ronnie with Jeffries Firearms Training. I'm here for another installment of UF Pro's Instructor Series. I'm here to talk with you about trigger control and trigger manipulation, and how if those two things done properly can help you achieve a more precise shot, keep your rounds accurate and on target. First, I want to talk to you about index of fire. What I mean by that is our trigger finger is indexed along the frame, and we have positive pressure, and we haven't made the conscious decision to shoot, whatever our threat is. All right, guys, for this first part of the drill, what we're gonna do is we're going to be indexed to fire. We're gonna be up on target in a ready position. I'm gonna give you a shot timer. What I wanna see is as soon as you guys hear the beep from the shot timer, the shot should break. Meaning there should be little to no pause between the beep of the shot timer and you guys breaking the shot. We wanna explore whether or not we can jerk the trigger, for lack of a better term, and achieve acceptable hits on target. After each course of fire, what we'll do is we'll go examine your target. We'll see just how accurate you guys were from each position on the trigger, whether that was index to fire, at the wall to fire, and then complete trigger prep and fire. What's gonna happen is I'm gonna give you a shot timer. It's gonna sound like this. As soon as you guys hear that, I want you guys to break the shot. I want little to no pause between the shot timer and your shot breaking. Shooters ready, stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. So you can see on this first target, this is Mike's. You can see that even though he's an extremely high level shooter, he's not achieving extremely precise shots. Because what we're having him do is we're basically having him disrupt the sights with that long trigger pull from index to fire. Let's look at the other targets. So with Omar's target, you can see that there were some low shots here. Some of that could have been his trigger prep, the fact that there was none, or some of it could be a little bit of recoil anticipation. And you got Jerry's target here. We have a high shot. Obviously Jerry's another high level shooter, so he's got the majority of his shots here in the orange, but we know that he can tighten that up with a little bit more trigger prep. So let's see how that goes. Now you can see from the targets that Mike, Jerry, and Omar all achieved hits on target. However, they could have been much more precise had they prepped their trigger a little bit more. Index of fire can be used in several different applications. Whether you're a concealed carrier who has made the decision to pull their firearm out for whatever reason, but hasn't made the conscious decision to fire, or you're in an enforcement capacity, you've decided to unholster your firearm. While index to fire may not be the most efficient way to manipulate the trigger, you can see by the targets that all of these hits were in an acceptable hit area given a human-sized target. So if you had to make a split-second shot and your finger was indexed along the frame, you can see that your shots will probably be good enough to hit a target, given that you don't need to take a precise shot. All right, guys, so on the second iteration, what I had these guys do is they fired from the wall of the trigger. What I mean by that is they took up all the pre-travel or slack of the trigger. They took it out. They were ready to fire. They'd made the conscious decision to fire. All they were waiting for was the sound of the shot timer going off. All right, guys, so on this next iteration, what we're gonna do is I want you guys to, we're still gonna shoot from the ready position. However, we're gonna have the trigger prepped. What I mean by prepped is we're gonna be at the wall of the trigger, wherever that is on your particular gun. Obviously, different manufacturers are gonna have different areas in which the wall of their trigger is at. But what I want you guys to do is get to the wall of the trigger. Same thing, as soon as you hear the beep of the shot timer, I want you guys to break that shot with little to no pause. We wanna see if there's any deviation in our hits. We're gonna see if our shot groups tighten up as opposed to how it was with shooting from index. I want you guys to now prep the trigger, get to the wall, and as soon as you guys hear the beep of the shot timer, break your shot. Shooters, stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Good. All right, you guys can holster up. Let's check out the targets. So with Mike's target, you can see that he's still achieving a high level of precision just being prepped at the wall of his trigger. He had one little flyer, but I mean, that's an acceptable target in my book all day. Omar's target, let's see, he's cleaned that up quite a bit. On that first iteration, he had a couple low shots. On this one, all within the acceptable hit area. Much cleaner target shooting from the wall of the trigger. Jerry taking out the center of his target. Target looks great. Obviously, there is a huge correlation between the prep of the trigger and the precision of the shot. You can see by the targets that all three of these guys cleaned up their shot groups and they were able to achieve better hits in a more efficient manner. All right guys, so on the third iteration, what I had these guys do is not only get to the wall of the trigger, but I had them apply positive pressure to the trigger in preparation to break the shot. All right guys, so on this next one, what I want you guys to do, we're gonna be shooting from the ready position once again. Now we're not gonna be at the wall, we're not gonna be indexed. What I want you guys to do is be establishing pressure at the wall. So we are ready to break the shot. We've established that pressure at the wall. We're probably even a little bit past the wall, establishing that good pressure, but we're not letting the shot break until we hear the beep of the shot timer. Everybody, that makes sense, everybody? Yep. All right, go ahead and come up to a ready position. And I want you guys to get to that position on the trigger. So get to that ready position on the trigger. As soon as you guys hear the beep from the shot timer, you guys can let your shots go. Shooters ready. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Good, holster up. So let's check the targets out. All right, so you see Mike was even shooting at a high level with just trigger prep at the wall, but now we basically have 5 rounds in the same hole. Getting to that, establishing that pressure at the wall and being ready to fire. Omar's target cleaned up quite a bit. Everything is in the acceptable hit area with the majority of his hits in the very center of the target, which is what we're looking for. Jerry just took out the center of his target, exactly what I would expect from a shooter at his level. But you can see that even with Jerry and Mike, both high-level shooters, their accuracy and their precision tightened up quite a bit when we established that pressure at the wall. What we wanted to do with this is explore whether or not we could clean up our shot groups even more from just being prepped at the wall. And what you can see by the targets is that having that positive pressure at the wall cleaned up all 3 of their shot groups, and they were able to dang near nail drive and put all the rounds in the same hole. Now something I'd like to talk about is in-flight reset or reset under recoil. If you've watched the UF Pros Instructor Series, you see this topic covered in a previous installment. However, we're going to cover it again, and maybe you'll take away something from this time that you didn't from the last. In-flight reset, what does that mean? That means getting your firearm prepared to take a follow-on shot after your first shot has broken. Why is that important? Well, it's not only going to take one shot to stop a threat, and we want to be prepared for those follow-on shots immediately. We don't want to have to wait and have one of those click bangs where we can hear that audible click. What we want is we want to be able to reset that trigger while the firearm is recoiling. What that's going to do is it's going to prepare us to take follow-on shots in a much more efficient manner, and we'll be able to run that gun to our potential. What we learned out here today, guys, was index along the frame, we can achieve good shots. Having our trigger prepped to the wall, we can still achieve good shots, and we can even clean up our shot group. However, having that trigger prepped as much as we can is going to help us to achieve the tightest shot group possible. See you guys on the range.